So how might the United States work to combat the CCP's efforts to export digital totalitarianism overseas? Our next guest is a cyber advisor currently serving as the Vice President of Cyber Risk at Optiv Security. James Turgle joins us now. James Turgle, thank you so much for joining.
My pleasure.
James, the Select Committee on the CCP today holding a hearing on the Great Firewall and the CCP's export of its techno-authoritarian surveillance state. When asked about the most immediate threat, one of the witnesses, Dr. Zach Cooper, talked about how the U.S. is adopting a tiered approach to focus on intervening with countries who are on the edge with some amount of surveillance. Can you talk to us a little bit about how the U.S. could effectively combat the CCP's influence in those countries?
Well, so this has to be a multifaceted approach, right? The CCP, the Chinese totalitarian government here is attempting to push their idea of digital totalitarianism to these smaller countries by exporting and trying to be that part of the internet, trying to show them that this is the way that they can operate and control their populations. So both from a public and private viewpoint, the U.S. has to attack this both ways. One, by providing a number of different options for those smaller countries so that they can understand the benefits of an open internet, right? Whether it's for their citizenry, for their economics, all of those issues, but also to combat this both from a military aspect and certainly from a private sector aspect, where you've got private sector United States companies that are operating in these areas, right? They have a role to play here as well. So I think it's multifaceted in all those directions.
Talk to us, James, if you could, about the sort of evolutionary process of this Great Firewall, dating back to the mid or maybe even early 2000s, when you had companies like Microsoft, Nortel, Cisco, and others sort of contributing to this knowingly.
Yeah, I mean, certainly when Xi Jinping took over in 2012, right, the whole concept of digital totalitarianism really took control. Their ability to both stop content, to influence content, right? The Great Canon as well is their version of being able to go out where there's content on the internet and find and replace that content with their censored content. So it has been certainly growing in technology from the Chinese government for years. I think one of the individuals that testified in front of Congress today, or was the opening statement, talked about the fact that Chinese government spends more on internet control and on internet censorship than they do on their military.